Good evening, everybody. Yin Yang the podcast, February 17th. We're going to be talking about work-life balance tonight. Woo woo. We are live across the board. Right? Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, of course, our Riverside studio, and TikTok. We are live currently. Shout out to everybody watching us on any platform. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'd be more than happy to help. So tonight, work-life balance. Sheena, what's your opinion of work-life balance?
No, something I don't have.
Most Americans don't have it. It's not something easy to obtain. And I too am a guilty party. Please ignore my dog in the background, y'all. She's being spoiled. With work-life balance, it really comes down to like, how do I say this nicely?
I say it nicely.
Because you got to step up. You got to be mean. And I hate to say it like that. Like, okay, so for me, and I've shared very openly like my mental health troubles throughout my teenage years and my early 20s. But I have been in management positions since I was 19 years old. So I have always, the only stable thing I ever had in my life was work. So every time I'm emotional, every time I have to deal with the loss of someone, like for instance, a week after after my daughter had passed and all that, I went back to work because it's the only way I could deal. You know, when my dad passed away, I worked more, and I can't help it because number one, it's the only thing that's ever stable in my life. But number two, it's like the only thing I can do to distract my mind. Well, I'm glad somebody else understands that then.
I think about something, I just go find some work to do.
See, and that's exactly who I am. And plus, like, my work integrity means a lot to me. Like, I don't care. And you know what? Honestly, this podcast will probably come back to bite me in the butt later in life because I'm not an HR perfect person. I'm not going to give you the HR things to say. I'm going to tell you like it is. And when it comes to work, I love what I do. I worked really, really hard for the company I currently work for. But it got to a point where if you don't create work-life balance, your life is going to create it for you.
It really is, because you're going to get burnt out.
Right. It'll mess with your mental health. And even if sometimes it goes a little bit further than that, I can tell you, like, I worked in the storage industry and I was in like upper management with them, and I transferred to a whole new city. And I was working like 12-hour days, 6 days a week, doing everything I could to show the big bosses that I was it. I was the one that they needed on their team, etc. And then I got cancer the first time. So, Katie, stop. I'm so sorry. She's like back there crying. She's gonna make me. I am not a horrible mom, y'all.
She know we didn't play the disclosure.
Oh, we didn't.
Disclosures yet. So she's like, she wants to hear it.
She's trying to tell me. Listen, y'all. See, thank you for reminding me. That's that brain. All right, disclosure time, y'all. TikTok, you won't hear this, but we're playing a disclosure saying more or less that we have our own opinions.
Yin Yang the podcast does not own rights to any background music or noise you may hear. This podcast is completely opinion-based and
other plans.
All right, so I'll tell you the disclosure, y'all. We're not professionals. We have no licenses. Listen to us at your own risk, because these are our opinions. Thank you. Yeah, Disclosure did not want to. Well, just so y'all know, on my end it played, but like there was no sound. So I don't know what's up with that. I will fight with our studio later about it, because that kind of sucks. But it is what it is. I'll go back over to the chat now so that it's open in case anyone has any comments or questions. Remember, if you have comments or questions, you got to put it either in our studio or on Facebook so that I can see them, or straight into our TikTok. We are live on TikTok under Sheena and my personal account. So back to work-life balance. And no, Katie is being a brat because that's who she is. Because I was, prior to this podcast, laying with her for a second and giving her lots of love. And now she is, now she's just laying here on the rug behind me, pouting and occasionally sighing, just so that all of you think I'm a horrible dog mom.
Yeah, she needs more cuddle time.
Of course she does. Of course she does. You can cuddle with her all day long, and she's still going to need more cuddle time. But work-life balance has been one of my biggest struggles my entire life.
Me too. Like, I just don't do it. I guess I need to, now that I'm getting older. I need to have a balance so I can feel like I have sanity.
Well, and you got to get to a point where it has to be like I know this sounds really stupid, but I schedule my work-life balance now. Like, if I'm bored on a Saturday, I go up to work and I'll work for 10 hours just because it gives me something to do. But I have forced myself not to work weekends in about a month now because I need to be able to breathe and not hate things when they come down the line, and be able to remember why I do what I do and why I like doing what I do so much. And you don't remember that when you're there 7 days a week.
You do, and you need some downtime, and you need your me time, and you need your family time, and your significant other time. And so you have to have a balance between, work and your personal life and everything else that you enjoy doing, because you have to have some type of enjoyment in your life, or it's gonna suck.
Well, and on top of that, like when I was saying, like it messes with people's mental health, you don't realize what a burnout will do to you. Because not only will it mess with your mental health, like, man, I'm getting no time for myself, but it's going to make you resentful of the company you work for and the job you hold. And once you're resentful for that, you're going to start looking for something else.
Or you're going to be like me and just sleep for 10 hours and wake up like, what the hell?
Well, exactly, because you're burnt out.
Yeah. When your body's just shutting down because you're not giving it this proper rest and the proper time to time out. You don't take your time out, so your body will definitely take a time out for you. Yeah, I'm that person.
And a lot of that comes from like work ethic and integrity that was passed on from the generation before us. I watched both of my parents work their butts off their entire lives. I know that a lot of people throughout my life have been like, oh, she comes from money and stuff like that. But that's not the truth. My parents busted their butts, 50 hours a week to put food on our table and clothe us. Me and my sisters didn't have it made, but we had it. You know what I mean? But we only had it because they went to work and busted their butts to make sure we did.
You had what you need.
Right. We didn't get everything we wanted.
Yeah, as a child, you just don't know what your parents sacrificed to get you what you want and what you need and stuff. You just know that you have it. Until
right.
you get
and
older,
then you get
older and you get into the workforce, and then you get your check, and you be like, all these damn taxes. I want my regular pay without the taxes and deductions so I can feel like I'm getting paid something. So when you get into the workforce, especially as a young adult, you get all of that starts coming into place. And as you mature, you start realizing what your parents went through. Especially when you have kids yourself, everything falls into place. You understand the struggle. And some people be like, that's overwhelming to a lot of people, and a lot of people it's an eye opener. But you do see it when you have to walk through those shoes, as an adult
Listen,
versus, a child.
as an adult, I don't make horrible money. I don't make great money. I guess what you would call like middle class America. Like I can afford my bills. I can put groceries in my house. I can take maybe one trip a year. And besides that, I put a teeny bit into savings and I hope for the effing best.
Girl, you're doing
You
better than
know?
most, because most people can't put nothing into savings.
Yeah, but I don't have any children. And that's kind of my point. Like, if I had a kid here, guess what? And when I say a little bit in the savings, y'all, it's not even like I'm putting 10 grand away a year. I'm putting literally like $1,000 in the bank a year. But if I had a kid, no, that money would be gone. I wouldn't be able to
Girl,
afford all this if I had a kid.
no, trust me, because my kid, I'm going to need 3 other jobs to support him. Good God. Adam is about to
Adam is a
drive me.
teenager. He's a teenager,
Adam,
y'all.
a teenager who's coming into his own, and he is driving my pockets crazy. But I love him, so I will do it all. I will go out here and get 2 more jobs and 5 more businesses if I need to get him what he needs or wants, and vice versa. So
I'm
it's a
pretty sure I just
sacrifice.
heard Katie say that she wanted to move with you since you'll
Oh,
do
yes,
all
you did.
that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You should see. Well, I went to the store today. Today was shopping day, so I went to the store pick up some things. I did pick up some little things for my fur babies. My fur babies are spoiled, so Katie will just join the club.
Katie is currently pushing my chair backwards so that everyone knows why I keep getting further away.
She's trying to see if she can get in that lap.
Well, she's too big for my lap.
She said she want to be on the podcast. It's a work-life balance, including dogs.
Are you part of the work-life balance, mamas? Huh, mamas?
She
Is her
said
part of the work-life
balance
balance?
her cuddling time.
What? Sorry, y'all. You can in TikTok they can see her nose.
Oh yeah. Hi, Katie.
So I know y'all can't really see all that on Riverside because the camera angle's a little bit different, but yeah, she's right here. So the biggest thing I want to touch on with work-life balance, y'all, is what can happen if you don't find it. Because one of the strongest things that anyone ever said to me that I had to take to heart, and it took me a long time to understand 2 things. The first one was the only person who's going to remember 20 years from now that you work late every night is your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that some of us love our jobs because I'm one of those people. I love my job. I want to be there for all of my tenants and I want to make my community the best community to live in. But what does that do for my personal life? When I come home and I'm only getting to spend an hour and a half with my significant other a night and 45 minutes of it is eating dinner, then eventually he's going to get tired of it too. The other thing that was said to me is if you spend all your time at work, you are going to miss every important thing that's happened. And for a long time, I didn't really think about that. But when I moved away to Colombia, I missed a lot of really important things with my family that I was used to doing, like traditions, like Christmas Eve and things like that. And the same when I got married. And I regret not being there for those events so much. Because even though they were so insignificant in the amount of time, it was time that I missed with people that truly loved me, that I should have been there with and for. And you can't take those moments back. I can't be like, hey, Mom, I live here now. I'm ready. Can me, you, and Dad go to the Festival of Lights? Because my dad's no longer here. You know, of course, me and my mother can create new memories. And I feel like I'm working really hard to build that relationship with my mom that, you know, we can create those kinds of memories now. But I missed out on so many memories with my dad that I really wish I didn't, because I was working so hard, because my career has always been really important to me. And I
Right.
don't know about other people, but for most people, their career is so important because everybody wants to leave a stamp on the world. But John, Joe, Bob, 30 years from now, when you retire from that company, guess what? Your name is just a number in their employee system. And nobody
Mm-hmm.
says John, Joe, Bob created this and we still use it to this day. Because
Nope.
I created programs for multiple companies and I've never gotten a single ounce of credit for them.
Once you leave the company, that's it.
Yeah, you're a number. And
Right.
I hate to say it like that because the company I work for now is great. However, if I go to them tomorrow and say, hey, you know, I just found out I have this disease and I need some time off, guess what? I'm getting replaced.
Mm-hmm. They don't care.
And people will be like, FMLA and da 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 da. Yeah, I
You
get all that.
can go to work and pass out right there on the floor, and they'll still clock you out
Mm-hmm. They sure
before they
will.
call the ambulance for you. So
Right?
they don't care. So you have to
Absolutely.
prioritize your life accordingly, because them people is not. As soon as you can't do nothing for them, or you can't earn your keep, then you're gone. You're going to be
So
replaced.
right. So the biggest thing that we need to touch on tonight is how we create work-life balance and how you set work boundaries.
Okay. I was looking at some tips that might be some good.
Okay. You want to read a couple of them?
Sure. Here's the one thing that I like is the characteristic. Oh, I can't talk tonight. Characteristics of a healthy work-life balance. I've seen this is setting boundaries. I love that, because setting those healthy boundaries in your life, personal life, and your work life, professional life, is extremely important for your mental state and everything, to have those boundaries set. Also, time management. Utilizing and having effective time management is extremely important too. And implementing a stress management strategy, like strategies for stress, reducing your stress, is really good. And just being flexible, having that flexibility. I like those characteristics. Those are really important to having a healthy work-life balance.
Yes. Yeah, and let me say this, because this is one of the, do not lose your voice. I understand that a lot of people get a job and they're so grateful for that position because, you know, it's a decent paying position or it has the benefits that you need for your family. But don't lose your voice. You know, if
Right.
they say, hey, can you work for a Saturday, and you have something planned with your kid, you tell them no.
Right.
You know, you
Stand up.
gotta set the
Have your
boundaries.
boundaries. Yes.
And I'm actually horrible at that because I'm the person that once I learn my job and I know how to do it, I get bored.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll be like, hey, is there anything else I can help with? And before I know it, I'm running 5
Dedicated.
properties
Yeah.
and
Dedicated to all kind
and
of
driving all
projects.
around Georgia, and but I can't help it, and because that's just who I am. However, I've been going through, and I don't want to give a bunch of details or nothing like that, so please don't ask. But I've been going through some health situations since like May of 2021. And I've taken on all this extra work because extra work means I don't have to think about what's going on with my health. However, it has fast tracked how bad I feel. And because apparently, if you didn't know this, stress levels, anything going on in your body, stress levels will make it worse faster. And I actually do my best at work under pressure. So I always thought that, oh, great, I do great under pressure. I can take on as much as I want because that's when I thrive.
Mm-hmm.
It's also apparently when I get the sickest.
Yes, you're straining yourself. You're neglecting your personal life. You're straining your relationships. You're burning yourself out. You're
Mm-hmm.
constantly overworking. And I bet you're not doing any self-care stuff. You're not.
And that's a big thing too, honestly. And I'll be honest with y'all, how y'all see me in the morning on Coffee with the Maries, that's how I look most of the week. I don't get up and do all of this for work. But honestly, I mean, I work in property management and it's very important to me. I always look presentable, but I don't do like lashes and stuff like that because I never want someone to think I'm overbearing. Like I take out my nose ring, I don't do the lashes, and I just wear my hair usually back in a little bun or ponytail or whatever. Because I don't want anyone to be like, oh man, she's overcompensating for something. But as far as self-care, besides these evenings when we're doing our podcast, that's probably the most self-care I do every week. What about you, Sheena? Do you focus on self-care at all? Because Sheena is a lot busier than me, y'all.
Yes,
Now,
I am.
we used to be the same amount of busy, but I put my boundaries down and I stuck by them, and I'm trying to teach Sheena to do the same thing.
Yes, I do need to set some. Listen, I'm preaching healthy boundaries, and I need to act on what I preach because I'm a big people pleaser, and I try to accommodate and help everybody I can, especially if I know I can help you figure it out. That's why on my regular full-time job, I'm always the one that trains everybody because they know I'm there to help. But yeah, I try to, not as much as I want to. But I do try to do some self-care. I do try to go to the gym, exercise, play my music in my ears, have me a moment. I love that. Listening to music, blasting out at the gym, working out. That's my little moment in the universe I go. But I want to do more self-care stuff. I haven't able to go. Like I said this weekend I was going to go get me a pedicure and have I never made it cuz I got too busy. But
Go figure.
it's a it's still on my wish list and my feet probably does really really need it by now. But yes, I
I
used to, I want to get back into doing the more self-care stuff where I'm going, get my regular pedicures, doing more of a constant uh gym routine versus like this day, that day, maybe this time. I'm glad I go to Planet Fitness and I'm glad they're 24 hours because I might pop up on them like 11 o'clock at night. Hey, I need a workout. Or 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm going like, hey, let me in
I
this
would
gym. I need a workout.
I would do anything for a Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness, if you watch this podcast,
Yes.
we really need a Planet Fitness in
In the
Mountain
mountains.
City, Georgia. Okay, this is my plea to you to please bring a Planet Fitness to Mountain City. I will go up. Listen, if you pay me what I make now, I'll run it. Because, and I just say that because we need one so bad. I mean, we have a gym out here and it is 24 hours, but it's super expensive and it's super hoity toity and it's super uncomfortable. And I would do anything for a Planet Fitness out here. Gosh, we need one because I miss working out at Planet Fitness.
Yeah, I
I
love my
used to work
membership for
out
Planet.
and then I would do the sauna and then I would do the tanning thing every time, just like that. So I realize that I keep putting this on y'all, not because I need more, but because it's in my hand. So I'm going to put it down so that I quit doing that.
Yes,
So,
I love my Planet Fitness membership.
and that's the amount of self-care. What's sad is you heard what she said. She can get up and go to the gym at 11 o'clock at night, but she couldn't find time to go get her pedicure that she knows her body needs. And that's what it kind of comes down to with work-life balance is we're all trying to be adults in a world that isn't like it used to be.
Definitely not.
There used to be a structure, prior to all of us being adults, prior to our parents being adults. Let me say that too, because this wasn't in place then. But back in the day, A family could survive on the man's income alone, with the female being at home, maybe selling some Mary Kay or Avon or some
I was
Tupperware.
like, yeah, Avon. Avon was busting back in the day.
So was Tupperware, man. But only the people that really wanted to work did those things. Most women didn't work.
Yeah, they're too
And,
busy cleaning the house.
They took care of the kids, and the mortgage was paid, and all the bills were paid on the husband's income, and life was great. And now you can't even make it on 2 incomes. Oh yeah, no, I absolutely. That's why I didn't say I'm not, discrediting women at all. I'm just saying they only needed one income in a household to support all the bills and put food on their table.
But I was to say that's why a work life. I should have finished that thought. I guess I finished the thought in my head. But the thought was like, that's why work life balance is so jacked up right now, is because we have to do everything. We have to not only take care of house, which is a job in itself. Taking care of the house, cooking and cleaning and raising kids is a job in itself. We got to do that. Plus, we got to go out and clock in and work a job for 40 plus hours a week so we can have money to take care of this house and cook
out
and
here
stuff.
have a second job that they're doing in the evenings or on the weekends just to support their kids.
Yes, there's some people out here working, I know, working a full-time job, part-time job, and a side hustle, just trying to maintain. And that's where we are as an economy, and it's sad. Like, there's the days of you having a one-person working household. I mean, having the man of the house working, and then the wife and can take care of the kids, and they can live happily off of that one income and take trips. And you remember the trips we going to Disneyland and everything, and
yes,
you cannot do all of that now. We need another job and a side hustle if we want to take a trip.
And sometimes it's more than just even that. I mean, I can tell you as a landlord, I see so many people struggle so often, and I'm right there with them. It's not like oh man, sorry for them. I don't qualify for the housing community I run, but I can tell you, just like everybody else out here, I am one major emergency away from being homeless.
Just about, I would guarantee about 85% of America is in the same boat.
Right. We're all struggling.
Car breakdown or some kind of, health issue, emergency, that it's gonna throw their ass all over the place, because we just robbing Peter to pay Paul, living check to check, just trying to survive and maintain this whole
and that's
system
part
is
of
out
the
of whack.
problem with the work-life balance is if all you can ever afford to do is stay in your house, what kind of life are you having?
None.
If you can't afford extra gas in your vehicle to go see your friends, or extra gas in your family to visit you, extra gas in your car to visit your family for holidays,
right? That's like
there's no life there. You just have a work balance.
Right. That's why I implemented, with my son Adam. Like, we implemented our mom and son date nights again, because like I'm robbing him of that time to get out the house and do stuff, and we're spending time together, just because either I'm working or too much or finances. I just said, listen, we're gonna take this time out at least once a month, and we're gonna go out and sit down and have dinner. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. We're not gonna worry about how much something costs. We're just gonna sit down and enjoy us one meal and enjoy time together, at least once a month. I'm gonna try to do it twice a month, but we'll see.
That's what my parents used to do with me and my younger sister, is that we did we would do like every other week. And then I would go out with my mom and my sister would go out with my dad, and the next week time we would switch. And just do little cool stuff. And we always had like a limit. Like, it would be like, hey, we can either go out and spend $25 at a restaurant, or we can go to Frankie's Fun Park, or we can take this $25 and go to Walmart and buy a craft and come home and do it together. But it was those time frames that were like, those are the moments that created for me everything that I learned about, what you have to do to be there for family. Those little moments created my mind into, okay, this is my family. They love me and they'll be here regardless, because I could always be myself with them. And I know that I'm a lot to take in as a person. And I know sometimes it may not seem like it on this app and this podcast, but guys, I am definitely a lot to take in as a person. Not to say it's bad at all. I'm a great person, but I'm a lot to take in because I know a lot about a lot. And I'm not afraid to say it. So, but with work-life balance,
she do know a lot. I'm always calling her. What you know about
and
this?
I don't even know why I know the things. Like, it's like I always get, okay, so a lot of people when they're bored, see, this is my work-life balance problem. Because
You get
when
bored too
you're
much.
when you're bored at home, I don't like watch TV and stuff. So when I'm bored at home, guess what I do? I jump on Google and I'll look up something random. Like, earlier I was looking up like why penguins exist. And not to be mean, because I love penguins, but I don't really understand what they bring to the world besides like cute little walks. So now if she never calls me and says, "Hey, what do you know about penguins?" I'm going to be like, "Oh man, let me tell you."
That's why we have the wormholes on
Yep,
Coffee
that's
with
why
Marie's.
that's why Coffee with the Maries always has a wormhole, because every week I'm reading about something else and I'm going, "Okay, everybody needs to dig into this." And like Dr. Sabi, y'all, because of what I've been going through medically, I have been following so much information about Dr. Sabi, and I wish everybody out there could just take the time to research him,
Oh
because
yeah, he's awesome.
The things you are going to learn is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I already went down that wormhole. You will learn
So
a whole
we do
lot.
have Miss Sherry is in our comments right now, and she was just saying that she agrees because she has a job. She has a full-time job and a side hustle, and it's still not enough. So she's thinking about getting a second job. And this is a single woman that lives by herself and has to pay all of her own bills. And that's the reality of the situation. And today, like, the work-life balance never equals out if you're a single household income, because you have to work more to cover all of the bills.
Right.
But you also have to learn where to set those boundaries.
And it's hard.
Well, and it's that much more hard when you really like your job. Like with me, I love, and I know y'all hear me keep saying that, but I love what I do, and I really like the company I work for. So if they were to call me tomorrow and be like, "Hey, Amanda, we really need you to fly out to Virginia for a week and do this," my gut would be like, "Amanda, you can't right now. You are going through something medically. You need to sit your butt down." But my brain will go, "Absolutely, Virginia, that's great. What's going on? What am I going to investigate? What do I need to figure out?" Because that's who I am as a person. And so, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. My dog is not happy tonight. And it doesn't help that I have family that came into town, so my significant other is down at my mom's, so he can't hide Katie in the room to stop her from doing all this. So we just have to deal, y'all. It's okay. I apologize if y'all hear her barking.
It's fine. Katie's part of the podcast tonight.
Yeah. She's barking because she brought out her squeaky ball and she keeps throwing it, and I'm not fetching it because we played the opposite here in my house. She throws the ball, I fetch it. But anyways, it's hard because those boundaries can only be made if you make them. And for instance, with what I got going on medically, I'm not supposed to be driving a lot. I have stitches in my leg right now, which make it a little bit harder to do the same things I was doing every day before. And they'll come out in a week, and it's healing really well. But when I use the muscle in my calf, it hurts really bad. So trying to walk uphill or walk too much or do too much hurts. But even just trying to slow down this last week with stitches in my leg, I was still walking, 10 to 15,000 steps a day at work. So in 8 hours, I was still getting in 10 to 15,000 steps. And it's because as much as I would like to say, hey, I'm not doing all of this for this, I take a lot of pride in what I do. So with the work-life balance, how do you do that? Yeah, you can take trips with your family, but if you're not home every night for dinner, or, you're not able to show up to, like, for instance, Adam plays football. We all know Adam plays football. Football is his life, and so if Sheena's not able to go to Adam's game, Adam's going to be like, dang, man, Ma, like, you missed another game.
Right.
Because he expects her to be there. That's his support system. Just like with your significant other, you are their support system. So if they feel like you're not able to give them the time they need, why would they sit in that situation? Nobody wants to feel neglected in their relationship, whether it is a boyfriend and girlfriend, a mother and son, a mother and daughter. Like, I can tell you every Sunday I go to dinner at my mother's house. If I started calling her on Sundays and saying, hey, Mom, hey, I'm not coming to dinner tonight. I'm going to actually go into work, because we do dinner early at her house on Sundays. I'm going to go into work. She might let it slide one time, but that following week, she's going to be like, no, you're not going to do that to me, because she has set that boundary that she should be important to me.
Right.
You have to set that boundary with your job, because they have to understand, what's important to you.
It's difficult, just like the comment that we got. It's really difficult to set that boundary. I'm finding it difficult to set a work-life boundary that actually works, is because just like single moms out there, like we were just talking about, you have to have more than one income coming in, because it all falls on us. But when the rent constantly going up, or your mortgage constantly going up, you're paying $1,500 just to live somewhere. $500, $600, $700 just to light it up and warm it up, and then you still got car payment, car insurance, and groceries is ridiculous right now. It's hundreds and hundreds of dollars of groceries. You find yourself even clipping coupons to find out, what fast food restaurant has a deal, so you can try to just make it through one meal. Um, it's hard to try to balance that when you constantly have to work. Like, either you're gonna work or everything is gonna fall out of place. Because if you take a balance and say, hey, I'm gonna just go do dinner with my mom, or take my son to a date night and stuff, but I'm not working because I'm doing that. But I'm not working, that means there's no income. So then I have to
Exactly.
sacrifice or adjust other ways so the household don't fall apart. Because granted, if you don't pay your $1,500 a month for your mortgage or your rent, you're going to be evicted. You're going to be homeless. If you don't pay your car payment, they're coming to get it. So you're going
Yep.
to be walking. So if you don't have gas to put in your car, you're still going to be walking. If you don't have car insurance to pay, you're probably not going to be walking. Well, technically, you're not going to be walking. But
But you won't get
legally,
pulled over.
legally you should walk. Okay, legally you should walk, but technically you don't have to. But that's each his own. Each his own. I'm not telling you. See, this is why we need the disclaimer, the disclaimer.
Yeah, our
Because
disclaimer's down, y'all. I don't know what's wrong with it.
yes, because my opinion is like
Do not take Sheena's advice.
no,
This is not legal advice. We are not
no.
lawyers or attorneys. There's the disclosure. There you go, Sheena. You can
Right,
say
there
whatever
you
you
go.
want.
Because if your car insurance is canceled and you out there driving on the road and you get caught, don't tell me, well, Sheena said
Sheena
that
from Yin Yang the podcast said I
that
could.
said my baby needed milk and I had to do what I had to do. See, no, see, this is just opinions, okay? I get that.
But
And I've been there. I get it. I've been there. But each his own.
how do
Do
we
as your
break
own
that
wish.
cycle?
I don't know. The government has to come in and fix the economy. So we're not working our asses off to get nothing at the end of the day, or get nowhere, or we are out here like snails, moving so slow, doing an inch this way. And it's just like we're not getting anywhere because the economy is just jacked up. because
And it's
all
so
our
sad
money is just the cost of living is going up, but the income is not going up. We're still getting
at
the
all.
same. What is it? The minimum wage is like $7 still. Like who really?
So
Who's
that's a
out there
state
living off
thing.
of? Yeah.
And in South Carolina, you're right, it's 725.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It is a
I don't know
stat.
what
I
it
don't
is in
know when it's
Georgia
in
off the top of
Georgia,
my head.
but it's
I
low.
think the federal
So
one is like 725.
yeah. How do they expect somebody to live off of that? And they have that federal guide, and some companies will pay you minimum wage because that's all they're required to. And even though you should get paid more, they're just going to give you 725 because that's all they're required to give you. And who can live off of
Right.
725? Who? I mean, my teenager probably going to be looking at me like, "Mom, I can't do nothing with 725."
And that's the reality of it. But there's nothing you can do about that. That's
Nothing.
why, like, you'll see a trend, especially lately, with people living in tiny homes.
Oh, I want one of
You'll
them.
also, I do too. Well, I want a couple of them. I want like my own little tiny home community in a circle, and then a big one in the middle. So like that can be the community house. Anyway, sorry, all my hippie life.
Yeah, I
Um,
want a tiny home, and I want a home that's on wheels. So when I get tired, I can get in it and drive the hell off. Or if I
then girl,
see
you don't want a
somebody,
tiny home. You want a dang RV,
well, I want both because I want like a tiny home that's like in a permanent hideout that nobody knows where it's at, and then like a regular
an
home that was
RV.
on wheels that people will know me. So that when I
Y'all,
get
she keeps
aggravated,
saying a regular home on wheels, like she about to have a 3-bedroom house with some wheels on it that
yes.
she just riding around, pulling around with her car.
Yeah, you see these new RVs now, it might as well.
Girl, these new RVs are phenomenal. Like if my county let us live in RVs, because my mom has she has a really big lot. If our city would let us live in RVs, I would have already bought one and put it over on my mom's land and lived in it. Because
Girl, let
that's
me
my
find.
retirement dream. My retirement dream is to bounce RV park to RV park and explore the US. So
That's all you need is some land and the RV hookup. You good to go. Like, listen, let me find me some land, and I'm not gonna spend $300,000 for a house. No, give me that RV over there,
right.
and,
Yeah,
and, and
no,
put
I
it
mean
right there.
that's my
Or give me
dream.
that
That's
time. Come in here with that tiny house. Or you see
That's
those
gonna be the
container
point in my
houses?
life where I feel like, oh yes, I have.
I'll take one of them things right about now. Oh, I seen this video. I'm sorry, I'm getting all off track, but I seen this
No, you're fine.
video.
Work-life balance, girl. This is how it
Listen,
works.
listen, because people need
I
to
do
hear
have a
this.
really good question for you after this. Go ahead.
Okay, I seen this video on Facebook. Sometimes I scroll Facebook periodically, but I seen this video where this guy had ordered a house off Amazon, and he ordered a house off Amazon, and everything he needed to put in the house off Amazon. Everything came from Amazon, but it was really cool. It was this foldable house, and the thing folded up and pulled out had everything. Only thing it didn't have was the electrical sockets. Like, come on now,
And it
really?
was $34,000. I saw that video too.
Really, that was so cool, wasn't it?
So now let me blow your mind. Elon Musk has one for 10 grand.
Okay, I need that one. Sheen has one, but I don't know if you want to order a house from Sheen.
Listen, I don't know, because I mean, I've bought some good outfits from Shein, but I've also bought some outfits that came in and they were so cute on the model, and then I put them on and they were see-through, and I don't really have a see-through kind of body,
Yeah.
so it didn't really look right on me. So I mean, would buy one from Shein if they could like guarantee it wasn't see-through, but I don't want to live in a glass house either because I want to like change.
Yeah,
Um. But yeah, Elon Musk has one for 10K.
I need to go look and see what that one looks like.
It looks pretty much like the same one, like it folds out like that one and all.
See, all you need is some land and get you one of these container houses, tiny houses, or these foldable houses and call it a day. Does this a foldable house have plugs?
The
Because
problem
I
in
need.
America is most of your counties have rules against them.
Yeah, but that's why
Like in
the prices of generators is going up too.
well, and generators are on back order for like 18 months unless you buy one flat out at a store. If you order one online, you're not going to get it for 18 months. I know that because I was in the construction industry for a year and a half, a year ago. But as far as the tiny houses and stuff like that, like up until, I don't know, like 3 months ago here in Mountain City, you could not build a house less than 672 square feet. They wouldn't allow it. And so then something happened with, because we're in a housing crisis. Nobody has homes here. And I mean, a lot of ones have just recently opened up because they cleared like our probate and stuff like that. But before that, there was a housing crisis, and we have a extreme amount of homeless people at a homeless camp. And so they finally passed a bill here that let them set up a development with 200 tiny homes in it. And so they're slowly building those tiny homes for people. But the biggest thing with that is, okay, you're going to build all these tiny homes. You can't put a family of 5 in a tiny home.
No, that's only for like, people who
That's
just,
for your single people with no kids. Like, that's for people like me. It's just me and my significant other and our dog, who you clearly hear in the background throwing a fit because she's throwing her ball around and I won't throw it back. But that's what that's really set up for. It's not set up for.
But how many families out here with no kids? I mean, there's a lot,
Not
but there's a
many.
lot that has kids. Like, the kids has to be
and there's
a
not
really big
many without
consideration.
kids. Not our age. Most people me and your age have children, at least one.
Girl, I'm catching her now. I'm in the looking for another place, and I'm catching hell because there's some places out there that's probably like reasonable and cool, but it's like, it's not gonna work with me, my kids, and my dog. Or I should say dogs, because I just added a puppy to my list. Now I have 2 dogs and a kid and everything and a significant other. So it's like, 3 bedroom maybe.
And just so we're clear, her kid is like how tall? 6'4", 6 foot.
6'1", 6 foot. I done lost count. He done grew some more. He's gonna grow some more.
He's
so yeah.
huge. He's so a tiny home for him really wouldn't fit.
No.
The narrative of.
Girl, I drive a Corolla that I might have to just up to a SUV or something, because if he gets any taller.
Y'all should see him get in my Versa.
It's about how he gets in my Corolla.
He's like, but okay, so when I told my mom earlier tonight what our podcast was about, she asked me a really good question.
What's that?
Sheena, do you consider our podcast work or life?
Oh, that's a good question. I actually consider it life because I have fun doing it. I enjoy doing it. It's a moment that I can talk for an hour, and it's not really like brain consuming. So
brain consuming.
Yeah, them brain consuming jobs. People know what I'm talking about, who work a brain consuming job. Anybody in the medical field can attest to brain consuming, medical billing, brain consuming jobs. And it's just a relief. So it's really not, I mean, I'm working, but I'm not really working because, like, I'm having fun doing it. And I enjoy doing it. And I look forward to it. So it's life.
I've been thinking about it since she asked me that. And I think for me, it's both. And I
only
say that, just a little. And I say that because I absolutely love our podcasts. Like, we have 2 of them. We do them both on Saturday, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. And I absolutely love them. Now, behind the scenes, because Sheena has 12,000 companies.
No, but you know what? It's going to probably be, I was just about to say, it'd probably be both for me. Because I want to get us out there as we're growing. I know we're just starting. So as we're growing, I know it's going to become more work than life. But still, we all have that balance in. I know you're doing...
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, I do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that nobody sees. But I'm okay with that. And because even though it is work, it's working towards my dreams. It's working towards my goals. So anything outside of my actual 9-to-5 job, to me, I consider life. Working towards my dreams, I don't, because if you're doing something you love, it's not really work. I will sit here all day long and find topics for us and sponsors for us and do all the work that I have to. if it means we get to get on this podcast and talk for an hour with everybody. You know, because I like this. I like being here. I like communicating with y'all. I like going back and forth. And it's that much more important to me to get this information out there for people, because there are people out there that struggle really bad, especially with work-life balance.
They really do.
And you know, I can name, just off the top of my head, I can name 5 people right now that struggle super hard. And I wish I could just go and shake them and be like, listen, this job does not care about you. And I'm not saying that they don't care about you, like they don't want to give you benefits or things like that. I'm saying that if you died tomorrow, they are literally posting your job the same day.
Mm-hmm.
They do not care about you. They care about what you have to offer their company. So chase your dreams, because all you're doing right now is chasing someone else's.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing. You know, I am grateful for my job, and I am grateful for my health insurance benefits, and I'm grateful for the boss that I have and the company I work for. But I also know, and that's why I work so hard on the podcast over the weekends, because I know that at the end of the day, they're not going to chase my dream for me. They're concerned with their dream.
Right.
And my dream, you know, they're not going to call me and be like, hey, let's go ahead and sponsor you for a year on that podcast. You know, they don't care about that. Now, if they called me tomorrow and said that, I bet you I'd go a little bit harder at work. You know, I would, and I really step it up at work, but I wouldn't have no issue working really long hours, because I know that my sponsorships are in place for a year with my podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's kind of the balance. You know, I have moments where, of course, life becomes too much. You know, I can tell you,
Oh,
and
we
this is
all
kind
do.
of, it's kind of personal, but I can tell you that a week ago, Sheena asked me, like, hey, do you need to take a break from the podcast? And for a moment, and you can probably ask her this, I hesitated, because I do have a lot going on, and mentally, I should probably step away from a few different things in my life right now in order to deal with that. However, this is the one thing that makes all of the other stuff in my life worth it to me. You know, and me and Sheena don't get to talk. Yeah, we don't get to talk throughout the week a lot, because she works 3,000 jobs. And
Just added another one.
I work my job, and then I do like some side work for Sheena and stuff like that. So, see, I have side job too. You know what I mean? So I'll do like side work for Sheena if she needs it. And
yeah,
then,
I have some editing for you to do. Mm-hmm.
So apparently I'm working on Sunday, y'all. But I do some side work for her. And then on top of that, I have my books and the podcast. So it's like, of course, I should probably take a lot off my plate right now. But when you're chasing a dream, and that dream means everything to you, especially if you think, you know, I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm being, if you think that your time in the world has an expiration date, and everyone should, because all of us are just living to die. So, but if someone came to you and said, hey man, 20 years from today, you're going to die, how much harder do you think you'd go?
Oh, I'd be ready to get everything. Dude, that's where the bucket list comes in at. Because, and everybody should, even though you shouldn't wait till they get a time that they're going to die to actually write out a bucket list. You should already have a bucket list of everything you want to experience in life, and just do it, because you never know. Tomorrow is not guaranteed at all. So go out and live your life and have fun and be happy.
That is what you need to remember with work-life balance. Mm-hmm. And I say that from the very depths of my heart, y'all.
Right, because you can't take nothing to the grave with you. Nothing comes with you. So,
and I know that I haven't shared everything going on, and y'all, I promise y'all eventually I will, once I know every fact in the world about what's going on. But at that point, you know, I'm stressing to you, you know, that time with your mom, that time going to hang out with your friend, jumping on a plane and going to see your best friend, driving 5 hours to go see family in a different state. Do it. Do it all. Dance in the rain, apologize when you're wrong.
Spend
Demand an apology when
$300
you're
on Usher
right.
tickets and go see him.
Who spent that money on Usher tickets, Sheena? You bought $300 tickets?
No, hell no. I would
Sheena, I will
YouTube
fight
his
you.
ass. I would YouTube
Right?
his ass before I pay $300.
We
For
will put
what?
him on the big old, I got a projection screen up there, and we'll put him up there, and we can all see the concert. I'm sure
Girl,
somebody out there gonna be
I
on
got to
live with
go.
it.
No, they were talking about it at work the other day, and this girl said she was trying to get tickets to his Atlanta show, and they were sold out and stuff. I was like, listen, I still got to go back and YouTube the Super Bowl thing.
It ain't worth it.
So I ain't paying no hundreds of dollars for no concert.
No, girl, all you gotta do is wait till the time of the concert and then go on Facebook, and somebody gonna be on that bad boy with a live. And they're gonna
Hey,
be showing the
listen,
whole concert.
I spend about $20 a month, not quite $20, but almost $20 a month to have Spotify, and I can have my own concert with any artist I want. Just play the songs. I can make my own playlist. I can have a long concert, a short
Hey,
concert.
if you
I
log
can have
into
a mixed concert.
Spotify under Yin Yang the podcast, it'll be free.
Really?
Yes, because we have a podcast. Our podcast goes out on Spotify, so you
I
could
know
just
that.
listen to it for free. Just so you know, just in
I
case you're
didn't know
bored.
that. That was good. That was the thing. So I now know that.
I
In
just
case I
saved you
don't have,
$20.
yeah, I'm about to say, in case I don't have $20 one month, I can just, cut
Yeah,
it
because
off. I'm gonna go
because our
listen to it.
podcast airs there, we get free access. So,
Oh, okay. That's good to know. But I paid for it, and the whole family got it though.
oh yeah, I don't know how that really works.
How
I
that
just know
works?
that we have access and it's free
No,
because we have the podcast on there.
I know. But Adam is serious about his Spotify. If his
I
Spotify is not working, he will call me. If he don't call me for nothing else, he will call me when that
Hey, you need
Spotify
to
stops
check with
working.
Adam to make sure he follows us on Spotify.
Oh
We
yeah,
need another follower on Spotify.
right.
So if y'all have Spotify, please go follow us on Spotify, please. Thank you.
Oh yeah, shout out. We need to do that
Um,
this week. I'm gonna do that this week. Put a post up on Facebook. Follow for Spotify.
you want me to do it for all of our accounts?
Sure.
We don't mean to talk about this while we're still talking to y'all. Sorry. So we got 3 minutes left, y'all. The conclusion from both Sheena and me, is clearly that you have to make time for yourself.
Right.
I know that work is
Self-care.
hard. I know that second job is hard. I know that you are doing everything you can to provide for your kids. But even if it's just 30 minutes each night where you sit down and you lotion your body and you brush your hair and you say self-affirmations in the mirror, you got to find time for self-care. You got to find time
To
to
meditate.
breathe, to love. People say all these things about being brokenhearted and all this stuff, but we're all here on this earth. Here's my hippie part, y'all. We're all here for love.
Mm-hmm.
And if you love no one and no one loves you, you have absolutely no purpose to be here. And I don't mean that in a mean way, but there's someone out there that loves you. And if nothing else, you can take that time and spend it with them. But if you spend all your time at work, you're going to lose everything and everyone around you. And then you're going to be alone and you're going to be miserable. Money doesn't bring you what your heart needs to get by. That's what friends and family bring you. And listen, I can tell you just from working where I work, like a lot of my friends I've worked with over the years. And Sheena can probably attest to this too. You find friends at work and you click and it works.
I've had
And you love
some
those
good
people.
friends at work. Some of your work buddies be some of your best friends sometimes.
Yeah. I've made friends in my job now that regardless of where I go in life, I know that they will be right there. And I absolutely love it. I love those people to death.
Yeah, I have some
But
too. I still talk
And
to
it
him. I worked with
sucks.
him in years, but we still keep in touch.
And it sucks when you have to leave that company, or you have to move on with your life, or they have to move on with theirs. But the flip side to that is it also sucks when you watch them like work themselves into the ground. You know, because it doesn't matter how many times you tell them, they're going to say, you know, oh no, I'm all right. I'm all right. But when you see them falling, you got to call them out. You got to tell them like, no, rest.
Set
Take
your
some time for
boundaries.
yourself. Go get your hair colored. Go get your nails done. Go buy some dang cupcakes or something. You know, take a little bit of time to breathe. And it's your job to remind your friends. It's your job to help them set their boundaries if they can't do it themselves. And with that being said, I need all my friends to call me so that I can help set some boundaries for myself. Because I am the pot calling the kettle black right now. I really, really am. Because I
Girl, man, you
struggle with
both.
it.
Yes.
I struggle.
I'm over here talking about setting boundaries. I ain't got a boundary set yet.
Right. Well, no, I just started setting a little bit of boundaries at work, but I had to medically. It wasn't even my choice. The doctor actually set the boundaries. But if it was more of a me thing, then it probably wouldn't happen that way. Like for me, I have to get like burnout and hate you to set that boundary, because I will go hard for anyone. You know, because I just love everybody. That's because I'm a hippie. That's just who I am. I don't care who you are or how wrong you've done the world. I'm just like, oh, I love you until you betray me. That's just how my brain works.
Yeah, I get that.
So, do you have anything you want to add, Miss Sheena?
Let's see. I went over the most points about the work-life balance. I would just add, take your time off. Like, take that vacation. Like, make sure you do that. It's not all about, the work. You have responsibilities. Don't get me wrong. We all have responsibilities. We all have priorities. We all have things out here in life that we want to accomplish, but we all still need that break. And whether or
Right.
not you just take a break or go on vacation, or you just take a night out to drive out of town and get a hotel room out of town. And even if you don't go out of town, get a hotel room, you do nothing, you stay in the room all night, just still do it, because you're changing your environment and you're clean.
Right.
That helps your mental so much that you wouldn't even understand. But do it. Like, even if you can't do nothing but put $10 of gas in the tank and drive up and down the interstate, do it, because those moments, just taking a break from everything that you have on your plate, is needed. It's needed. That's what I want to say, and I will leave y'all with. Take your breaks.
I absolutely agree.
And take your breaks at work too, because they will have you be like, oh, we give you 2 15-minute breaks and an hour lunch break. And then they'll have you feeling like you have so much work to do that you're working through your breaks, or you're working through your lunch, and you're working off the clock. You stop all that too. Especially, it's against the law to work off the clock. But listen, are they paying you enough to work?
I don't clock in.
Well, we ain't talking about salary people. Y'all work off the clock for y'all.
Anyways,
I don't even understand salary. I understand it, but yeah, don't get me started on that. Salaries and water people, don't get me started on it. So,
water people refers back to Coffee with the Maries, y'all. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close out. Don't forget
right.
Coffee with the Maries, 8 a.m. next Saturday morning for current events for for this week coming. So we will see y'all 8 a.m. Saturday morning. Until then, we are two people,
two opinions, a real talk.
Real talk. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.